Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. The center can no longer hold. Things are falling apart for William Ruto and his team on the mountain, and specifically on the issue of one man, one vote, 1 shillings. From what we have been gathering, any leader on the mountain talking about one man, one vote, 1 shilling is seen as a rebel. And they are being threatened not to talk about one man, one vote, 1 shillings. Just last week, Water CS Alice Waume wrote a protest letter to Treasury complaining that funds that had been allocated for water projects on the mountain had been diverted to other regions for political reasons. Upon writing that protest letter, we saw several Mount Kenya elected leaders, led by Gathoni wa Muchomba, complain that Ruto has shortchanged the mountain, and all these leaders were in agreement that one man, one vote, 1 shilling is the way to go. And we have also been told that Rigathi Gachagua and some top government leaders do not want these Mount Kenya leaders to talk about one man, one vote, 1 shilling. And any leader who dare talk about those, or rather about that one man, one vote, 1 shilling, calls are being made to them, they are being threatened. Yes. It appears things are getting more interesting, that even now some close William Ruto allies, the likes of Ndindi Nyoro, are now propagating one man, 1 shillings, 1 vote. While we all know that the likes of Ndindi Nyoro were the ones who were very loud in castigating BBI. BBI provided for one man, 1 shillings, 1 vote. So when you see a close William Ruto ally, such as Ndindi Nyoro, propagating one man, 1 vote, 1 shillings, then you can just see the extent of the pressure from the ground, pushing William Ruto to implement one man, 1 vote, 1 shillings. In this video, I want us to listen to Ndindi Nyoro. And it's ironical because Ndindi Nyoro is somebody very close to William Ruto. If Ndindi Nyoro feels that something is not going right in William Ruto's government, I believe we can just reach out to William Ruto in private and they can sort it out. But when you see him coming to complain in public, then something is cooking. Let's listen to Ndindi Nyoro before we proceed.
Na katika hayo kuna kitu moja tunaangalia bunge na najua tutafaulu. Mheshimiwa Dabwen anasimamia Embu. Na mnajua especially some of our counties are very dense. Iko na watu wengi. Tunataka hii maneno ya basari na maneno ya maendeleo tuilainishe kwa idadi ya watu. Idadi ya watu kwa sababu ndio inalipa kodi. Idadi ya watu ndio inachaguana. Hiyo pia tunafanya mikakati kule bunge, na we have the support of our president ya kwamba tuegemee sana maendeleo tukiangazia watu. Hata hii basari tunaangalia vile tutabadilisha formula hata ya CDF, so that kwenye kuna watu wengi wanapewa pesa mingi, sio kupewa tu ati inatoshana, hata constituency hazitoshani. So ile maneno tulikuwa tunasema ya one man one vote 1 shilling, it is not far-fetched. Tunaiangalia hata kwa maneno yote tunafanya ya fedha za umma, kwa sababu if we don't support the people, and it is the people who pay taxes, then we will not be doing the right thing.
Yes. That's Ndindi Nyoro. Somebody was castigating BBI. BBI had 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shillings. And we know that Ndindi Nyoro is a very close William Ruto ally. Why is he complaining in public? Why can't he just sort it out or inform William Ruto in private? Ndindi Nyoro wants to identify with the people. He wants to be seen as defending the interests of the mountain people. And that is so because this whole discussion of 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling is gaining traction with the people. And we have been told that some top government officials have been threatening any leader from the mountain talking about it. So by Ndindi Nyoro coming out boldly in public, that confirms that the pressure from the ground is actually building. Ndindi Nyoro is playing politics. He wants to be seen as identifying with the interests of the mountain. And that puts Rigathi and his team in a very precarious situation, because anytime Rigathi opens his mouth, it's always insults, abuses, and attacks on Uhuru and Raila Odinga. But the real issue affecting the mountain residents, you will hardly hear Rigathi talk about them. I strongly believe Ndindi Nyoro is cleverly trying to edge out Rigathi politically. That's a very smart move by Ndindi Nyoro. In fact, is coming out as the first amongst equal who are close to William Ruto, who is propagating that 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shillings in public. If he plays his politics very well, he can run away with that narrative, and that can really endear him to the masses. Secondly, that confirms that Ndindi Nyoro, William Ruto and that team misled the mountain. They were not very honest when they were rubbishing BBI. And now even if the people were to accept Ndindi Nyoro after he misled them, then that will be a very bad verdict on the side of the people. The people themselves will have proved themselves as politically ignorant. They are politically naive. I strongly believe that any leader who opposed BBI should not talk about 1 man, 1 shillings, 1 vote. Let the leaders from the mountain who advocated for BBI propagate it, because they strongly believe in it, not people who opposed it. And I'm saying that based on what we are currently seeing in a William Ruto's government. Ruto opposed the new constitution, and we are seeing clearly that now as the president, he finds it very hard to implement the constitution because in the first place, he never believed in it. The only person who can successfully, in my honest opinion, propagate 1 man, 1 shillings, 1 vote on the mountain is somebody who believed in it in the first place. So Ndindi Nyoro, Rigathi, Kimani Ichung'wah, in my honest opinion, are not in a good position to propagate 1 man, 1 shillings, 1 vote. And then from those remarks by Ndindi Nyoro, I'm seeing clearly that there will be a split. There will most definitely be a split. William Ruto, if he wants to maintain his foothold on the mountain, will have to implement 1 man, 1 shillings, 1 vote, or he renders himself irrelevant on the mountain. And just as I did state some few days ago, the next phase of discussion on the mountain will be about one man, 1 shillings, 1 vote. That will be the challenge on the mountain, and it will destroy and build political careers on the mountain. In the event William Ruto wants to remain politically relevant on the mountain, he will be forced to implement it. But then again, with the kind of economy we are seeing in a William Ruto's government, where even civil servants are not being paid, I don't think William Ruto will be in a position to implement it. Ruto would rather prefer things to remain as they are, because also those other regions will not accept funds going to their areas to be reduced. So William Ruto is in a catch 22 kind of a situation. He is between a rock and a very hard place. And all these are self-inflicted because William Ruto campaigned on the basis of propaganda. All along the truth that in the event BBI could have gone through, the mountain more than any other region was going to benefit. Because of politics, Ruto and his team misled the mountain. So just as I did indicate for those following me some few days ago, whether he implements it or not, his goose on the mountain is cooked. Equally to Rigathi Gachagua. If he also starts propagating that, then it will mean he will be parting ways again with William Samoei Ruto. So I'm seeing very clearly that there is trouble building on the mountain over one man, 1 shillings, 1 vote kind of a narrative. As I conclude, listening to Nyoro, I'm seeing a totally confused politicians who don't look at the bigger picture. Their only interest is their temporary political benefits, but they're not looking at the bigger picture. Let's meet in our next analysis. But in case you are watching us, but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give this video a like. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Kenya.